You want to give my number out to strangers? Fine, I'll ruin your life. So I have one of those phone numbers that sounds totally fake when you say it out loud. Like it's so easy to remember that people literally think I'm lying. Something like 555-1234. You know the type. And because of this, some guy named Dan has been using my number as his personal rejection hotline for like 3 years now. At first I thought it was a mistake. Someone calls, asks for Dan, I say wrong number, we both move on. But then it kept happening, and I started noticing a pattern. These weren't random calls. They were clients. Angry clients. People Dan clearly didn't want to talk to, so he'd just give them my number and ghost them. I'd get calls like, "Hi, is this Dan? I've been waiting 2 weeks for those contract revisions." Or, "Dan said to call this number about the invoice dispute." And every single time I'd be nice about it. I'd explain they had the wrong number, wish them luck, hang up. I'm not a confrontational person. I figured Dan would eventually get caught or stop or whatever. But here's the thing. Over 3 years of these calls, I learned a lot about Dan. His full name, what company he works for, his job title, the fact that he works in some kind of consulting business, the names of his coworkers. I know he has a wife named Jennifer because one caller mentioned her. I know he drives a white truck because someone saw him leave the office in it. I basically have this guy's entire professional profile memorized just from being polite to strangers he screwed over. Last month was my breaking point. I got 4 calls in one day. 4. All people looking for Dan. One guy was legitimately upset because Dan apparently promised him a refund 3 months ago and then vanished. Another woman said Dan told her to call his direct line for a quote and seemed confused when I said I wasn't him. I was at my sister's birthday dinner and had to step outside twice to deal with this. So I decided I was done being nice. The next time someone called asking for Dan, I didn't correct them right away. This guy says, "Hey, is Dan available? I need to follow up on a proposal." And instead of my usual script, I sighed really loud and said, "Oh man, you didn't hear? Dan moved to Arizona like 2 months ago. Had some legal trouble, embezzlement stuff, pretty messy, dead silence." Then the guy goes, "Wait, what? Embezzlement?" I just kept going. Told him the whole company was under investigation and they were trying to figure out which clients got affected by the missing funds. I said I wasn't sure who took over Dan's accounts, but they'd probably reach out soon. The guy thanked me, sounded genuinely worried, and hung up, and I felt amazing. So now that's my new system. Every time someone calls for Dan, I tell them he fled to Arizona because of financial crimes. Sometimes I add details. "Yeah, the authorities are still looking into it." Or, "I think his wife left him over it too." Or my personal favorite, "They're auditing everyone who worked with him, so you might want to check your records." I've probably told this story to 15 people now, and I really, really hope one of them knows Dan personally. I hope it gets back to him. I hope his boss hears it. I hope Jennifer hears it. I hope his clients start asking questions. Because here's the thing, Dan, you've been using my number for 3 years. 3 years of interruptions. 3 years of me having to explain to confused strangers that, no, I don't have their paperwork, I'm not their account manager, I have no idea what project they're talking about. You turned my phone into your personal customer service dumping ground, and I never asked for that. So yeah, now you're a criminal who fled the state. Enjoy. I don't feel bad about it either. A couple days ago, my husband asked if I thought I was taking it too far. And honestly, number. Dan took it too far when he gave out my number for the 100th time and didn't think about the actual human being who has to deal with it. He took it too far when he made me the bad guy to all these people who think they're calling him. If Dan somehow sees this, here's my message. Stop giving out my number. Get a Google Voice line. Get a burner phone. Tell people you'll email them. I don't care. But if you keep doing this, I'm upgrading the story. Next person who calls, I'm saying you're in witness protection. Or maybe you faked your own death. I've got options. And if you don't stop, I might actually call your company and ask to speak to you directly, just to see what happens. Because at this point, Dan, I've got nothing to lose and a lot of free time.